Good morning. Oh my gosh. Well, I took last week off, and so this week is a little exciting. It's exciting. So I have a big day today. Let me just start with a prayer. Oh, Lord, thank you for another amazing week and another fantastic 30 minutes with you guys, with my beautiful creative friends. Hopefully someone joins today, but if they're not, Lord, I hope that you are watching over them, protecting them, loving them, and showering them with many, many, many blessings. Amen. If you're on, say hi to me. So you guys, I have a huge day today. So you know that for a long time I've been doing this. I have always wanted to be interviewed. as an as a crazy introvert that hates this public world. I've always wanted to be interviewed. It's just a secret dream of mine, and I think it's because I have all this knowledge in my head, and I would love if somebody, you know what I mean, just extracted it from me. Instead of me just kind of pouring it out all the time and trying to share it with everybody all the time, that someone actually asks me the question so that I can give the answers, and I think that's where like me wanting to be interviewed comes from. I want people to pull knowledge out of me, so maybe to release some pressure or something. Sarah, so glad you're on. It's with Sarah Price for Galilee Life, so I'm like so excited about this. She did one interview with Navies already, the founder of Galilee Life. And so if you guys haven't checked that out, go check out that interview. That was a really great interview with Sarah and Navies. And today, as soon as I'm done here, I will be filming that. So I'm quite excited. I'm also quite excited. I think it's because of the fact that I'm going to be in a passenger seat. Hi, Sarah. The other Sarah in my life. The other Sarah in my life. This is the first Sarah. Look at Sarah. This is what comes up because YouTube doesn't recognize your emoji, but it recognizes Sarah's other Sarah, Dawn Summer Sarah. How are you doing, by the way? So I have two crazy things. So the interview is immediately right after this. So that's one. So I have to end this early. So I have about like 30 minutes to chat with you. The other thing is my second nephew's baptism is tomorrow at 11, right after the 11 o'clock mass. So basically I have to finish this baby blanket before that 11 o'clock mass. So I'm like, I've been knitting like crazy. I just started it this week. I know. For all this is what I'm talking about. This is deep sea procrastination, people, that I deal with on a constant and daily basis. And some things I'm working out. Some things I just don't have. Right after this, I'm jumping into my my model's bridal shower gift, on top of being responsible for getting many gifts to give out to, like, for the games and everything. But that I can buy last minute. But her main gift, I still have to start and finish by the 14th. No, by the 28th of March. of all the times and days, right? But you know what? She's in Disney right now, so I doubt she'll ever watch this. She's pretty much as secure as my husband is about watching my stuff. I think I talk about the both of them till sundown, and they still wouldn't know what I was saying about them. So, oh, you got it. Oh, I got this baby blanket, right? Yeah. It is the triple yarn seed stitch, which I have named the Ketra pattern. I'm working on the pattern. It's on the docket next after Esther. If I can ever get myself to create more time and space. So I took last weekend off because I was sick, and I have been sick for a while, but I just have been muddling through it and just kind of like plowing through. And then something about last Saturday where I was just like my body couldn't handle it anymore. So I basically just stopped and got into bed and stayed in the bed all the way through till Monday. And so it was glorious. It was, I came, of course, I got to eat and do things, but I didn't do any chores. I didn't do it. Like I shut everything down. I don't even think I went on social media. I didn't do anything. So now that I was well rested, I went to work and did all that. And so, and then started this blanket. So several things happened since the last time I've been on live. So you know how I was telling you that I'm starting like after the phone games addiction. I found out that my new thing to being addicted to this thing, not letting it go, is I started checking my email all the time because I would be bored. You know what I mean? And that's how I would play my games. I would be bored. And then now since I have no reason to pick it up, the one thing I was learning to find excitement in was the emails that I was receiving, like from the email list that I'm a part of. So I'm always like looking for what new lesson, what new, you know what I mean? What new emails is coming my way. And before you know it, I was checking that thing like every freaking 5 minutes. I'm like, now imagine, the good old days when you're, something just popped up on my screen. The good old days when you, I already told you about the little old lady going to check her mailbox every 5 minutes, and if you're sitting on the porch, you're watching her walk all the way out, check her mail for, you know what I mean, and then walk all the way back in 5 minutes, or come back out, check her mail, except I'm that little old lady checking my mail every 5 minutes, knowing that the mailman never came. But the thing is, see, that's the problem. See, back then, pre technology, pre this, we would do that and we would know that's not right. That's not good for our brain to be doing that. But with this, it's so fast and so secretive and so, luring and seductive. Like, this is what we do. And then before you know it, we can't let it go, So I was starting to get that new habit and that new addiction to play. And 2 weekends ago, my friend from high school, my best friend from high school, who is now living in California with a huge family, was in for the weekend, not last week, the weekend before. She was in for the weekend because her grandfather passed. And so she went to the funeral, went to the viewing and all this stuff. And then we met and we had dinner one night, and before she went back to California. And I don't know what we were talking about, but I was confessing that my new addiction is this thing, right? About the email. And she's like, oh my God, I check my email all the time. And she's like, I know, it's crazy. You know what I mean? I said, we need to get this under wraps, because clearly she had the same addiction as me. And I definitely was just starting it, but I know how strong it could easily get. Look at it. I went 3 years playing phone games when I thought that knowing that I got rid of phone games before, and somehow I got myself back onto it again. But so I knew I was on a bad track. So I said, we need to do something about this, right? So what we did was, what the? Hey, what happened? He is literally on the couch by himself, yelping, and now the big guy's over there trying to see why is he crying. That's enough, guys. I don't know if he hurt himself or twisted his ankle. Oh, it's never boring here. Sarah, I don't know how we're going to do this interview. So while I'm doing this, I forgot I had this wonderful feature, that's Sarah rooting me on. But we'll leave it on. We'll leave it on this Sarah's for now. Oh gosh, I got distracted. Oh, so we decided that we were going to be each other's accountability partner in the fact that the reason why I suggested is because I knew, like, with our drawing every day, like my model and I have been drawing every day. And so because we were holding each other accountable, it made us more successful. And we're like on day 80 now. We're 80 days of drawing every day. So it's like getting really exciting and so I knew how successful the accountability partner aspect was for it. So I was like, why don't we so we're only going to limit ourselves to checking our emails 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night, right? And because of her being 3 hours different from me, we just kind of figure we have like a certain time, but it's okay as long as we stay within the 3 times a day, because that's the norm. You know what I mean? That's the norm of doing that. Do you guys, by the way, if you're watching this, do you guys have a cell phone addiction of some sort? Like, we know social media is a classic, we know phone games is a classic, but how about checking your emails? Are you constantly checking your emails even though you have the notification on? And the funny thing is, I thought that if I turned on the notification, I would rest my mind to know that I would only see it, I would only get the email when I saw the notification. But that all that did was bring up me wanting to, pick it up more and keep like having more reasons to touch that thing, was because of the notifications. So that was a bust, by the way. But because what is the word? What you focus on expands. You know what I mean? What you focus on expands. So by me thinking that is, then you start to look for it. When you start to think about something, you start to look for it. That's why I'm a firm believer. If you you find what you look for. You know what I mean? Because once you start looking for it, you find it. You know. But where was I going with that? I don't know. So we limit our checking our emails 3 times a day, and we would check in with each other. So we just text each other, about it. And we've been doing it for 2 weeks now. And the first couple of days was easy because for me, I get excited when I'm starting something. That hence the startitis. So the beginning is not the hard part. It's the middle and the end is the boredom part, the part of doing it repetitiously every day. But because we were holding each other accountable, and we had some, I checked it extra, I checked it, you know what I mean? And I'll have a good day and she'll have a bad day, and then vice versa. She'll have a good day and I'll have a bad day and I'll want to check it and I could feel the craving. But now that we're 2 weeks in, I'm starting to realize more that because I'm only limited to 3 times checking this thing, right? Then I'm mindful of the fact that will I be able to address it? So not just to reach out and click on it just to see what's there, but will I actually be able to, because I only had 3 times to check. So now before I even click on that Gmail button, the first thing I do is if I click on it now, that counts as my 1, 2, 3, right? One of those times. But will I have time to follow through on these emails? So I wait, and that's actually helped me. That's actually helped me restrain myself by saying, I only have 2 seconds. So just to flip it on, to flip it off is a waste of my time, right? And I don't want to waste one of my things on just to see what the email, if I even got any emails. The other thing is I have to be able to address it, being that if it's a lesson that I want to learn, if it's something that I'm looking forward to, will I be able to shoot it over to Firefox and save it and then pull it up later when I can listen to the podcast or read the lesson or do whatever, however I need to maintain that email, however I need to manage that email. So, and she's doing the same thing because she's homeschooling and she's got 6 kids and a lot of her life is in email, with the emails from teachers and all that stuff, and about her kids. So, and not only to mention she lives on her phone because their schedules and their calendars and everything is on that phone. I've at least limited myself and I've cut my world big time in half and went to a paper planner, my bullet journal. And that was to keep me not so addicted to this thing. All this to tell you that the more and more of the distractions that we have, it keeps me from this, and therefore I am only. Can I do this? This needs to be done by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I say that because once the mass is over, we have to be at the church. And so I'm giving myself till 11 a.m. I hope this is not an all-nighter project. I have this to do. I have the interview at 10 for Galilee Life. And then after that, I will be running shopping because my model is in Disney right now. So I am shopping by myself, which basically meant I didn't stay to routine and I didn't go yesterday. So I have to do that, and then I'm gonna come home, and then it's all this until then. And then laundry tomorrow. That's the game plan. That is the game plan. But if you're wondering, for my model, it is not knit and crochet. It's another thing that I'm making that I can't talk about until I'm done, just in case she watches one of these videos. So that's it. So what's going on in your world? What do you guys got going on this week? Oh, speaking of the success of my drawing every day with my model, having the accountability, and my email, checking my email addiction there is on a really good track right now. We're going to get to a point where we won't need it anymore. We won't need to hold each other accountable anymore. And then we won't need to share, like, did you check your email? Did you check your email? Like, we'll get to that point one day where we won't need to do that anymore. And maybe we'll, like, monthly, once a day, once a week, once a month or something. Eventually, over time, once I realize that I have a grip on it and I start to go, I'm only going to check my email 3 times a day, and only when I can handle them, only when I can manage them, only when I can follow through on them. And then this way I could either write it down, jot it down, what I need to remember again, like things like that. So that is already helping me, and I can already see that helping and turning the tides for me. So with the success of that and the success of drawing every day, I'm realizing that accountability partner, I need it. I'm one of those people. Some people are self-motivated and self-regulated and you know what I mean? And I'm just not. I need that accountability. I think that's why I created that Dare to Be Original Facebook group, because in order for me to stay with this craft and stay creative and stay on track with this dream that I have, I need to see people doing it. I need to be a part of a world that is, so I don't pull away from it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm a natural introvert. I can easily just hide in my own world and not, and be left to my own devices, so to speak, left to my own devices. But, that just popped out. Did you guys ever see that? So you just stick this bad boy back in. This is acrylic, so it's baby acrylic. So it just pops right back in. See, people always panic when they work. And you realize that even if things don't work out, you can just fix it. It's easy to fix. You don't have to go crazy about it. Speaking of, somebody wrote me, did you guys catch my 2 videos that I've released the past couple of weeks about the how to crochet from beginner to mastery? I think that's the way I titled it, because I basically show you all the stitches, in one video and then you just practice it, And so I did the same one with a knit, how to beginner knit like a master. And somebody commented this morning, Kimberly, was that her name? She said that she has watched so many videos on how to knit and has never learned of how to cast on. She was never successful at casting on, and so her knitting kind of stalled. So she's watched so many videos and has never was successful at casting on. But she watched my video and she was able to cast on very easily, because I showed a very easy cast on technique, and it's called the knit cast on technique. And That's not the way I learned it. I learned it from my aunt, which was with the Y, the yarn, the T way. And I like to do that too sometimes, but the knit cast on I find is easier because it's stretchier. When you do the Y cast on or the T cast on, it seems to be a little tighter, but the knit cast on is nice and stretchy, and at the end of it. So do you ever, if you're a knitter and you wonder why your cast on is so tight, it's the way you're doing. It's a certain cast on, and so I showed the knit cast on, which is this way, which is very easy. But go check out those videos if you're a crocheter and don't know how to knit, or if you're a knitter and don't know how to crochet. Those two videos are game changers, and it is like its title, it's beginner to mastery. You practice those, you're golden, and that's all mastery is putting 10,000 hours into the craft, so you just practice those. But she messaged me, she commented on the video saying that she watched all these videos but was never successful, and that one helped her, and it just totally made my day. The monkey is laying on top of my foot right now. He must have hurt himself. He probably like twisted his ankle or something. Or these dogs are so spoiled that I swear any kind of resistance in their world, they just yelp like crazy. And so they act like little pain is like the mother lode of all pains. But that made me feel so good. It made me so happy to hear her say that, because everybody keeps asking me, when are you going to do more tutorials? When are you going to do more tutorials? And I'm always like, I'm too lazy to do tutorials. I'd rather talk about doing stuff like this, talk about, pursuing our best lives and sharing knowledge this way, because I feel like we need it more this way. But was that you? Oh, that was Kimberly Casey. Oh, I'm so glad you joined. So yeah, that totally made my day. And that was the point of it. I'm going to come back to you, Sarah, because I want to stay on this for a little bit, and I am watching the time. Because every day so my excuse, I'm always like, everybody's always like, you need to do more tutorial videos, you need to do more, and I'm always like, there's so many videos out there, guys. There's so many, you know what I mean? And I fell into that trap. I fell into the trap of, I don't need to do it because there's so many people already doing it. And so what is the point, right? And that we tell ourselves that. So when we have, and that was the reason why I came onto the scene. My goal was to get everybody to learn how to knit and crochet, because I think it is a life skill that everybody needs. I think everybody needs that. And whether you are doing it for love, whether you're doing, just to give away, or whether you want to monetize it, is irrelevant. This skill, I think, is to have the ability to take a string and use your hands to create something beautiful, or to create something functional, or to create something, different and original. I think everybody needs that skill. And that's why I came onto the scene. Like, that's why when I did it and I wanted to do a YouTube video, I wanted to show people who were insecure about learning to knit or to crochet, you know what I mean? And I think those two stitches, those two crafts are like game changers for yourself, for ourselves, for common knowledge, to know that we can do something, you know what I mean, with our hands. Like, from nothing to, with a string and a stick, a hook, a needle, any kind of point, chopsticks, anything. If we learn that, that's a skill like beyond a measure. And this is like a million-year-old craft. You know what I mean? There's a reason why it's still to this day like viable and vital, and and so I've always wanted that. That's always been a dream of mine, is to give people confidence to try these crafts, and to love it, and to be creative about it, and to do. And so, but I did fall into that trap of, oh, it's already been done before, I don't need to do it, I'll do something else, which is, motivate you this way. But Kimberly, you have like rekindled my my desire and my dream to, I forgot that was one of the things I wanted to do, was help people learn how to knit and crochet and do it confidently, not be like a slave to reading patterns. But some people don't know how to read patterns, so they feel like they're the ones at the disadvantage, which is always funny because, you know, we always think the grass is greener on the other side, but it's not. Speaking of, so let's go back to Sarah saying, speaking of Galilee, I'm slowly adding items to my shop. That's awesome. That is so awesome. If you have any questions about that or need help with that, look at my alarm for check your first email has popped up. But I've already checked email this morning, so that I have to ignore because I wanted to make sure Sarah didn't send me anything for the interview. Speaking of the interview, I do not have questions ahead of me. So, I'm pretty excited about it, and most people would be nervous, but I was telling her, she's like, do you want the questions ahead of time? I was like, no, because I didn't want to prepare for this interview. I didn't want to prepare for the questions because I find that if I know something ahead of time, then mentally I'm starting to prepare for it. And then when I'll run down the answers in my head, and then when I go live and do it with her, I'm going to forget some stuff, or I'll be like stuttering and stammering, and I will be trying to think of all the wonderful things that I thought of, you know, all the creative, smarter, and funny things that I thought to say. And then I won't say it in there because I'll be like trying to remember everything, and then I won't be present. And I want to be present at the interview. So the best way for me to be present at an interview, I would think, is to actually get the questions right there and answer it. You know what I mean? Speaking of question, who or what first inspired you to knit and crochet? I honestly do not know offhand. I've always known that my aunt's a crocheter. And she used to live with me a long, long time ago when she first came to America, before she got married and everything. And she used to crochet, so I knew my aunt was very crafty. And I want to say she would have taught us how to do it, but I don't think we were disciplined enough to stay learning. So I didn't know. I know this craft existed. I knew there was a knit and crochet world. I never learned it or never did it until I got married. Then I was bored, and I was like, I want to make things for around the house, and I want to decorate things and put my personality into it. And so I picked it up. I think I was watching Knit and Crochet on PBS with can't think of her name. I follow her and everything. Redhead, bright red hair, like very, very flashy and sweet and vibrant. And actually, it didn't start off with her because she wasn't the original host. There were several hosts before that, but I think it was a PBS special, like the Knit and Crochet show on PBS. I'm not, something like that, Knit and Crochet. I think then they became Knit and Crochet Now, and then they left my PBS, but I think other people had that. So I started doing that, and then I think I even got some of the videos. Let me see. I can't find it. It's in here somewhere. The DVDs of Knit and Crochet Now. So then I had my brother order the DVDs from the. I had my brother order the DVDs from me because I wasn't getting them on my PBS station. So I was learning how to do all that. Didn't have YouTube. Like I said, I was not aware of YouTube or anything until about 5 years ago when I got on the internet, like when I became internet aware. Before that, I used to call my brother to Google things for me. So I think I was like PBS, and then I fell in love with it. I fell in love with creating, taking yarn and creating, and I would just sit and knit while we were watching TV. I would not knit, it was crochet. Everything was crochet. So that's why I'm a crochet master. I did all things crochet, and I read books, lots of books from the library. I loved my favorite pastime, which was a luxury, because time is a luxury for me, for everybody. It's how you spend it. But I would love to go. I loved go to the local bookstore and flipping through the magazines and seeing what new creations were being made. And I would just sit there, get a cup of coffee, and just sit there and flip through books. And anytime we would go out and we're like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I just want to go to the bookstore. I don't care what you guys look for. I that was my craving. I haven't gone to the bookstore in a long time, but I would sit and flip through bookstores, and that's what inspired me to knit and crochet. And then, I think it was PBS. This is a public station. Um, so, and then after that, I can't remember. And then I wanted to learn and get better. But I have to watch the clock now because it's 9:50. So I actually have to end this. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. I'll be back next week, 9 a.m. Kimberly, if you're still watching, if you have any questions, share with me. Send me pictures. I'm on Instagram. Tag me at Vonkevitz. Join the Facebook group if you haven't already and share your pictures and of your creations in there. That's a fantastic group of beautiful, amazing ladies that love loving on each other and supporting each other's crafts in there. You don't have to be a knitter or crocheter in there. There's multiple creatives in there, all kinds of creatives. But since it's my craft, it's who I tend to attract, in my world. But there's artists and jewelry makers and everything in there. So share your picture in there, and I see those posts every day. But I'm also on Instagram, so tag me there. I would love to see what you're working on, and if you have any questions, come back here and join me, and I'll be able to show you and help you. And then, as a request, I am going to be filming that ribbing tutorial quickly for you. That is so easy. So right now Kimberly, I'm doing the seed stitch, which is knit, purl, knit, purl, right? Knit, purl, knit, purl. And then the next row, you knit on the purl and purl on the knit. So it's very easy. I love it. It gives you a bumpy look, and it's my favorite stitch. I love the rhythm of doing it. And so, and this is a baby blanket for my nephew Maddox. But the ribbing is just as easy as the first video, because ribbing is knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, whatever size ribbing. Sometimes it's knit 3, purl 2, knit 3, purl 2, whatever your ribbing size you want it to be. On the opposite end, you just purl the knits and knit the purls, right? And so it sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's very easy and it's intuitive, because when you see a purl, you knit that, and then when you see a knit, you purl that. And so it's the opposite. So if the first row is knit 2, purl 3, knit 2, purl 3, whatever number you want to be, then the next row will be purl 3, knit 2, because you're going to knit on the purls, purl on the knits, and then back and forth. And then before you know it, you got a nice rib. Look, I have everything over on the other side, and we'll have to just do this next week. So you guys are just gonna have to come back next week, and I'll show you that, Kimberly. And so I have more scarves over in there, but I do have to end this because I have to get ready for my very first interview. Yay! So I'm so excited. Please, please, please watch it. Support it. Support the channel. It's Galilee Life right here on YouTube. It's a brand new channel for Galilee Life is the online shop, the presence that I'm at. I have my scarves, my physical scarves, selling on there. I'm leaving Etsy and going there. And so I'm leaving Etsy because I'm still in the process of moving things over. Some people will do both. I'm just going all in on Galilee Life because oh, Sarah's calling me. But Sarah, I'm not going to be doing this on my phone. So, the house just popped on. Talk about the Lady on Glam Bag next week. I will. You guys, so many things I want to talk about. Sarah, I cannot pick up, so I'm going to decline that. Sarah, you have to email me because I need to be on the phone. I need to be on the computer. I don't want to be on the phone for the interview. So, or maybe I do want to be on the phone. Maybe that's better. I might have to pick that back up, Sarah. But an amazing lady is on Glenn Beck this week that I want to watch and talk about, because my hubs showed me this picture on his Twitter the other day of a baby in the third trimester in the belly. Like, you could see the sonogram of the baby like kicking and moving and dancing and doing all kinds of stuff. We don't know what that video is about, like whether it was going to be aborted or whether it was just being checked out and sharing. But how are we in this country? How are we in this world like okay with executing that? Like, how can we end that life? I don't understand. By the stroke of a pen. My mind is blown all the time about that. And I don't want to start crying before that interview. But yes, we are going to talk about that. So if you don't know, but I don't know if you don't know me. I started the video out with praying because, you know, Jesus is my BFF, and I don't understand how we can be in a world where we're allowed to abort and kill our own most innocent. Like, what the heck? Lord Jesus. This is why he cries. Okay. So until then, thank you, John. Thank you for sending me on this path before my interview. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm so glad that we connected today. Please continue your knit and crochet career and let me know how it works out for you. And I want to see your first project. I can't wait. All right. God bless you. Until next time, I'm on live every Monday with Sarah Price for Monday Morning Motivation at 6 a.m. If you care to join, it's we'll be there too. If you're up and at 'em and starting your week off right, we share a quote and we chat about what's going on. And then and if you have any questions, you can get up and chat with us there. But if not, I'll see you guys next Saturday at 9 a.m. God bless. Bye-bye.